Recording in progress.
No man in the world. No man in the world.
The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls. It's women and girls.
We create
the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me. Many of these girls have faced unthinkable obstacles just to attend school. Any society is how it treats its women and girls.
Won't stand still.
Your story is my story.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I'm one of your hosts. My co-host Maria is joining by Zoom. How are you, Maria?
Hey, Liz. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I just got back from New Hampshire last night, and it's predicted to snow up there while we're having 90-degree weather here. So it's wild.
That is
we're
wild.
Living in wild times, Liz. I don't have to tell you.
Well, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and he said something about the ozone layer, and I'm like, we don't even have an ozone layer anymore. Because, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you're driving down the street, looking at anything that's got an orange-colored sign, it's like all the orange is faded out, and it's like, this is not good. So I'm going to be investing in a lot of sunscreen coming up here. So, lots of things to talk about. There was a massive inferno that engulfed the $8.5 million mansion of the Navy Secretary on Tuesday. And that was only the latest in infernos, if you want to say. The thing that still has legs right now on social media is the Nottoway Plantation burning down in Louisiana. And, oh my gosh, so many things to cover there. For those of you who aren't familiar, the Nottoway Plantation in Louisiana was a plantation that enslaved people.
The largest, I believe.
Yeah.
In the South at one point.
Yes,
with
exactly.
Over 200 enslaved.
Yes. And so somebody came along and bought this monstrosity and turned it into a B&B and wedding venue destination. So I'm thinking New Jersey liquidation here on part of the new owners, because, that's a huge.
It's actually a lawyer and a judge. His wife is a judge.
Oh, okay.
And they said that they were going to rebuild.
Well,
I read that this morning, actually.
The ground is still soaked with the blood of the enslaved folks, and there are plantations who make themselves into monuments to,
like the Whitney.
Yes, the Whitney Plantation, also in Louisiana, is it's like almost a living museum of slave times and what the slaves went through And it's not, the sugar-coated version that everybody saw in Gone with the Wind by any means. But as far as the fighting online, oh my gosh.
It's interesting though, isn't it?
It is. It's like
it's I've seen just very unaware responses of, wow, it's going to cost a lot to rebuild, right?
right.
Well, considering that you had I mean anything that required unpaid labor to build, that you savagely forced to do that labor, right?
Right.
And now you actually have to pay for that labor.
Exactly.
I'd
And-
like to see you try.
Right. Hold my beer. Right.
I mean, honestly, in and of itself, it could be an experiment in what the cost of real reparations would begin to look like, right? Like,
right. Exactly.
on a very small scale, but the responses that you get to it are just so
Absolutely.
fascinating, and it's a fascinating examination of human nature, right? Because on the one hand, you have this complete lack of awareness around the pain and suffering and the oppression of a people, right? And people are saying like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. We had our wedding there," and stuff like that. And then you'd see responses of people saying, "So, like, would you have your wedding at a concentration camp at Auschwitz?
Right.
Like, what are you thinking?" You know?
And they don't get the parallels whatsoever.
Right.
It's pretty much as Donna says, a Miss Millie kind of thing. It's like, we treated you people good. And it's like, wait, what? No, these were people who were enslaved. And then you have the predictable Irish descendants of the first Irish folks coming over. Well, we were enslaved too. Well, you could go home at night. Okay. Yeah. You weren't chained to the shack that you quote unquote lived in. So yeah, the memes are giving though, because it's like, we've got all manner of memes about it's always usually got the building on fire, because it was covered extensively in the news, and so there's plenty of screenshots out there. But it's it's the beautiful architecture gone. Well, you know what? There's beautiful architecture all over the place that didn't depend on enslaved folks to build it. So, next comment. So it's just this very extremely thinly veiled racism that just drives me nuts. I mean, if you're going to be a racist, come on out and be a whole racist. Don't do a half-ass job at it. So.
But I think that they don't want to categorize themselves as racist, which is how we got here with this whole wokeism and anti-DEI and stuff like that. There's very little room for self-examination to realize that, yes, this was a profoundly painful. This isn't a movie. This
Right.
isn't Gone with the Wind. This isn't like we're not ripping drapes off the walls and making gowns out of them. No, this isn't that. Right? This is a very, very, painful, traumatic, quite frankly, genocide that we have yet to reckon with. And somehow, for some reason, we want to glorify it as if it was something grand. that was lost,
But
as
it's
opposed
a pretty,
to
Maria, you're being irrational. It's a pretty prison, right? It's
Welcome to Donna.
Good morning. You know what, y'all? Let me say this. I been working, we're getting our candidates lined up for the upcoming season, right? And so I've been like getting up in the morning, taking the 5-minute shower, pulling my hair back and running. And this morning I was like, no, I'm going to oil my skin and be a person. Right? I'm going to have my coffee and actually take my medication. So I did that, and I did it at the expense of the first few minutes of the show, and I didn't tell my co-host, and I apologize for that. But I was listening to you guys coming in, and I was like, there go those irrational, what do they say, nasty women.
Yeah, nasty women.
They're saying that we shouldn't enshrine, play death camps.
Right.
And because it's pretty, because it's history, good and the bad.
Right. Well, and the justifications I see are absolutely ridiculous. If you want to join the conversation, give us a call, 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. And before anybody calls or writes and says, what does this have to do with feminism?
Yes.
This is an intersectional feminist show. We examine everything and how it relates to feminism. And so this is particularly on point because we're talking about enslaved folks, and half our population pretty much, well, maybe not half, almost half, is descended from somebody who either owned slaves or were enslaved. So, there we go. Anyway, so yeah, the justification. Oh, and then they find this Candace Owens wannabe who writes this big, long, poignant thing, and they always refer to her as very, very well-educated, and they give her these superlative compliments as they're introducing the thing she's writing, and it's an excuse for the place being used as a venue for events and things like that. So. So you see that in every single post, more or less, is you see, and it was funny because one of my friends, and she's probably listening, one of my friends actually posted this thing on her Facebook page. And I read that and I'm like, what? And then the lady. Oh, turn off your thing. Yeah, thank you. One of the ladies who, the lady who wrote the thing, her name is Felicia. So I'm like, what is she, auditioning to be the next Candace Owens?
Yes.
By Felicia.
Yes.
That was, I was, good with my, my comebacks that day.
Yeah, you didn't waste any time. You swooped right in there. Right in there.
But yeah, it's like and then now yesterday, or last night rather, I saw they had photos of mixed race couples coming down the aisle at this wedding venue. And
because that makes it better.
That makes it better, yeah. Tokenizing the folks who got married. And then also, the fights began anew last night, so
Well, it's burnt down, y'all. And so if you build another one, it won't be that one. So there you go.
Right. And so, and then a tree fell on a Confederate museum and smashed it.
Look at there.
Yeah. And then the mansion that the Secretary of the Navy lives in burned down last night. And so, yeah, everybody is just like, what?
So you know what?
But that mansion, though, was also in the most restricted part of Washington, D.C.
Oh,
right? Where
yeah.
redlining and Black people were not allowed to live in Kalorama.
Huh.
So,
okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess Barack Obama went and ruined that for them, right?
Shame, right?
So can I say this? Because my thought, after the last 4 years of Trump's most recent presidency, which we've had between January 20th,
Dog year.
the last 28 years of Trump's presidency, in which we suffer the winter of our discontent this summer. And because everything is upside down.
Right.
I said to myself, you know what? We like to say developing country, third world country, poor countries, expletive word countries. But the United States, for all of its wealth and all of its fine institutions that draw people from all over the world, is an intellectually developing country.
I wouldn't even go that far.
I would not call it developing at all.
It's the most ignorant country that I see.
Progressive.
Well, I'm going to say that because there are things going on, like understanding that gender is a spectrum. We are understanding that microaggressions, things like that, when we really sit down, take our time and look and examine, study human relations, the behavioral science fields are expanding. There are advances that are being made in medicine. We're having good, deep, real conversations about ethics in biomedicine and the use of artificial intelligence. All of these things are happening whilst people don't know what habeas corpus is. People don't know what habeas corpus is, and they are helping to run the country. And that is why I say the United States is an intellectually developing country. There is some development in hotspots of development in some areas, but overall, we are way behind other air quote developed parts of the world.
It is.
I think that what you're saying. There are surly women, clearly, who understand the spectrum of gender, right? But at the same time, we elect public officials who are going to have arguments over gender-specific bathrooms and make an entire campaign around it, right? Like, there is this intent towards, and then there's also these very same people want to withhold research dollars for the very things that you're talking about, right? So I think it is a public conflict between these two entities, if you will.
So yeah, I would say the United States pretty much is an intellectual wasteland, except for little oases of.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, because you read some of these comments online, and I know that the whole world doesn't revolve online, but you hear them in person too, and it's like, what? I mean, who raised you people? And it's amazing to me still that so many people believe whatever Trump says. Oh, and by the way, we do now officially have a $400 million airplane from Qatar because somebody in the Trump administration said yesterday the Pentagon has accepted it. Well, still, it should go through Congress according to the Emoluments Clause. And so it's like, wait, it's a shell game.
Did you see the price tag on how to retrofit it?
Oh, it's going to be at least
$1 billion.
Yeah.
$1 billion.
So yeah,
it's going to cost more for him to have this flying palace than it would cost to provide people, to restore Medicare and Medicaid to the people that were cut at 1:00 in the morning 2 days ago.
Right. Yeah. Another all night in the dark vote, and here we are. So that is really just irksome to me because, I mean, where are the quote unquote good Republicans? They're
Well,
not.
some of them dissented over the budget. I mean, I guess their reasons were different, but I was really the budget the big beautiful bill passed 215, or is it 213, 214? Okay, so it passed. There was only by one vote.
By one vote.
And I was really surprised to see that for all of the fight that Dem said they were going to put up after Schumer kind of, went behind their backs and did his thing in the cloakroom. I was really surprised that it went that fast. I thought I was going to make it out there again because we were there last week. I thought I was going to be back, right? And I'm dragging all of y'all with me this time because if I take an arrest, I need some lawyers and some doctors and some... I am absolutely terrified I'm going to get audited by the IRS if I take a civil arrest in D.C. But people are afraid it needs to be done. I was just so surprised that you wake up in the morning and it's like, yeah, about 40 minutes ago, we got I woke up at before 8 o'clock. I think they got it at 7. They got it at 7 something this morning.
Yeah.
And then Mike is like, yeah, it feels good to be underestimated. And I'm like, bro, you guys are all terrified.
I want to slap that dude every time I look at him because he's always got that smirk on.
Not operating under your own volition here, right? People are doing what they feel they have to do to stay in Trump's good graces, lest they have a premature end to their career as a politician, as a career politician. So,
Yeah. Speaking of career politicians.
oh boy. Listen, Linda.
What's the name of the guy that just died? He was 76, which is not that old, by the way.
Jerry Connolly, 75,
Yes, Virginia.
died of throat cancer.
Yeah. So this dude came up into the leadership knowing he had cancer. And it's RBG 2.1, it's like, wait, okay, if you're over a certain age, and I'm saying 76 is young still. It's not fresh and dewy young, but it's still young. If you have a terminal illness, maybe don't put yourself out there to lead an embattled party in any sort of way. Why don't you, sit there and help one of the young folks get up and do stuff? But no, it's all about the glory. I think it's all about the grift, pretty much. It's like there has to be something more in it than prestige and social clout. I don't know.
But I think to your point, though, if we were to do things the right way, it would be that you wouldn't wait until AOC was attempting to run for this leadership position. The minute she got into Congress, people should be providing her with support.
Yes.
All of them. I'm not just singling her out, but in this particular instance, it was between the two of them, and making sure that there was a succession plan all along, because you don't wait till someone is in memory care and still collecting their congressional salary. You don't wait until somebody's in hospice and before there's some sort of succession with respect to knowledge, institutional knowledge about what we're doing. Part of it is, I think, that, to your point, is it's not just that, but it is all of these special interests that, well, Jerry's our guy and he's going to do what we want him to do, right? And we can't run the risk of somebody who has the interest of the next generation of America
Right.
represented, right? That's too big of a risk for lobbyists, right?
Right. Yeah, because they can't buy, the new folks coming in because they don't have that kind of connection with them. And, if somebody like me were to get up in Congress, I'd be like, go away. I'm not here to make millions of dollars. I'm here to represent my constituency.
I got to say something about that. Dick Lamb was a former governor of Colorado. And when I was doing work in Denver, Patty Lamb told me that you go and you say, hey, this is a mess, and I want to do something good. And so you get yourself elected, and it's very difficult to get yourself elected, no matter what office you're running for.
Right.
You put your entire self out for the public, and you get excoriated in a lot of cases. And so now you're in office, and the next thing you know, you're in the cloakroom making deals because you try to do this and they say, oh, you can't do that. We don't do that around here. And then you try to do that and they say, oh, that's unacceptable. We can't allow you to do that. And then Nancy Pelosi calls you up on the phone, say you're AOC, and she says, listen, you're going to be a one-termer if you don't get in line. There's a way that things go around here, yada, yada, yada. And now you're voting against rail workers when you came in as you're supporting labor, no matter what. There's never a reason not to support labor. Now you're voting with Joe Biden. And I'm not saying that AOC hasn't done a good job, but I'm saying that when we see, we were working with Morgan Carroll, state legislator, and she's like leather jacket, feminist, motorcycle rider, and she was like our guy. And Kaiser gave her a phone call, and she voted against the health care bill. So that's what happens. And I think that we have to elect. This is an opportunity for us to elect a lot of people who stand outside of the establishment ideology at one time so that they can band together. The squad was good. We need like 40 people.
Yeah.
Right? That are going to kill votes. Right? Like the Freedom Caucus. And there needs to be more people in that Justice Democrats group. But when you see Speaker Jeffries, aligning himself with ideas that are not popular, that the American people are saying, and this is what I don't get, and I'm going to stop ranting. I don't get the fact that we've told these people over and over again what we don't want and what we do. And over again, even our own party, they push us to support things that are not popular.
Joe Biden.
And then when people don't vote, they say people don't vote because they're lazy,
right,
because they're ignorant, and on and on and on. You're creating the problem. You are the problem. The apparatus is the problem.
Exactly. And they don't see it.
They see it.
Well, then why don't they do something about it?
They don't care.
Right.
Oh, I see.
They don't care.
They think everybody's just going to stay in the little party wagon and ride it till it goes off the cliff.
So, like, I work with people like this all the time, right? Like, they are so inculcated with their beliefs, right? And you tell them, don't do that. Don't do that. This is not a very popular thing, and you're going to upset a lot of people. Right. This is a very divisive thing to do. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I don't care. And then they get the fallout, and then they get mad because people don't agree with them. Right?
Yeah.
And they're like, what's wrong with you? Well, I had to make this decision. It's a tough decision to make, right? You should just, do what I want to do let me do what I want to do anyway. It's like we elected a bunch of 9-year-olds to go to Congress.
So, Maria, both last year we worked in Pennsylvania. I worked in Minnesota, St. Louis, Missouri. It's always weird over there. It is a crazy place. Now, it's like Florida, but it's more Florida, I think, than Florida. But
wow.
It just doesn't make the news as often because it's not as interesting. There's no beaches. There's no naked women.
Right.
There's no guys with their chests out. Like, we have white water and sand and people that speak Spanish, and it's exciting. But Missouri is not exciting. So, just sitting on the nasty little Mississippi River being St. Louis. So, after working there and you come back here, it's like going through the wardrobe in Narnia. Right? And you're talking to people and they're like, oh no, I can't run for that seat. I have to go kiss the ring of the Grand Poobah, the King of Prussia. Right? And I'm just like, no, you don't. You don't have to ask for permission to represent your constituents. And then you meet someone and they're saying, I don't care about permission. I want to do it because it needs to be done. And it's like you have to get Google Translate to talk to them, and you realize this is the candidate of your dreams. And you've learned to speak this other language when you're on the other side of the wardrobe. And now you have to realize that, for a change, you get to roll with someone who really gets it. Mm-hmm. I am so looking forward to this electoral midterm season. It's going to be like no other I've had in my career. And I was crying. When I left Philadelphia. I had a nervous breakdown in Philly last year doing research, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with everybody. So I fell apart, and I was trying on shoes and crying. My sister came for my birthday. So I was crying last year, but I think this right here where we are is where we get back on track. Now, I ain't saying that we ain't finna have a lot of people in office who are asleep at the wheel. But this is our opportunity to put a couple dozen people in there that get it. You guys, it's about to go down. And so listen to this. When you are thinking about, this season is gonna jump off early this year, okay? So I'm gonna say this. So when you see the online stuff coming from Act Blue, really stop and take a look at the candidates, right? Because stuff is going on. So guys, don't wait until later on in the year. Really start researching some of these higher profile cases so you can get your pennies together and get your walking shoes on, because this one is going to start early, and we got to start early. But it's going to be very exciting, and we're going to have a good time. Some of this stuff I'm not going to be able to comment on as I go to work, but trust me, you want to lean into this one.
Everybody has to do their homework always.
Yes.
Don't just vote somebody because of name recognition.
But I'm saying sign up early this time.
Gotcha.
Right. It's going down now. Like this summer, the campaigns are going to be in full swing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You're listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. You can join the conversation by calling 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. Now, let's switch to another career politician.
Unrepentant.
Please. I was dying to get to it.
Lacking contrition for their crimes. Yes.
Joe Biden. Well, number one, there was a book that came out written by Jake Tapper.
Oh my God, Jake Tapper.
I haven't read it, but it's supposed to have all the tea about, how he was declining and folks around him were covering it up. And as I've said before, my eyes told me there was something wrong with him long ago. Wasn't nobody covering up anything, but it's got major Democrats, Mayo Pete, scrambling to try to explain how they saw this in real time, in real life, and didn't do anything or warn anybody. And so that's number one is the scrambling of the folks who were in the room and didn't do anything. And then he comes up with stage 4 prostate cancer, which I know quite a lot about from the experience of my late husband. So
Same.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yep.
Okay.
And Donna's
We're
husband.
going through it right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's like, wait a minute. The president of the United States did not, because this is the new story. This is the new excuse. Because
That's a distraction.
Yeah. The first thing I said when I heard this news was impossible.
So now, before you say it, you got to tell people what you do, right? In addition to your lived experience as a caretaker of someone who had cancer.
I am a registered nurse as well. Mm-hmm. And so that, and I went, and when my husband had cancer, he was under the age of 40. They don't screen under the age of, he was under 50. They start screening at 50. He was 47 6 when he was diagnosed.
Oh, wow. That's young.
Yeah, very young. When you're young like that, it's
faster.
extremely
Aggressive.
aggressive. Yes.
Yep.
So, so now Biden has got the same thing apparently, and yet he's had a major physical every year.
He's the president.
But they said, listen, I read an article the other day that said that this new, and I read it about a year ago too, totally unrelated to this, that PSA screenings are not required annually for men over 50.
Over
It's like
70.
Over 70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over 50.
And the
they
last
do
one he
do,
had
yeah.
was 11 years ago.
I don't believe that for 1 minute. Not
Okay.
for 1 minute. Okay. Because you're the president of the United States. You know they're running a battery of every sort of test on you to make sure, because whatever party is not in power is going to challenge your health at every turn. And so you mean to tell me this dude did not have a PSA, which is a very simple blood test, and it's a screening. It can sometimes be wrong, but still, it's like you got all this other blood running it for all manner of things. You can also run a PSA at the same time, and so it was publicized that Biden's office said it had been 10 years since he had a PSA. I call BS on that, too, because that's just spin. That's pure spin.
Well, I want to roll over here to these emails because they are hot. Hot. H-A-U-T.
What?
Yes, they are. Mary has written us a novella, and she is saying there's like 7 paragraphs here, so I'm going to try to summarize. Basically, we agree that the Nottoway plantation should not be glorified because of it's a site of atrocity, and while our well-being is being threatened, we probably shouldn't be talking about these things. And while we're at it, we should stop focusing on President Biden, who is less than perfect, but did not destroy our democracy. Okay.
I beg your pardon.
I knew you were going to. He lived by the rule of law, blah, blah, blah.
I beg your pardon.
He's definitely not Trump, but I'll go on. And it says, our short-sightedness, yeah, that's us. Our short-sightedness.
Oh.
Okay, we're
short-sighted.
We're short-sighted.
Okay.
Where 14,000 babies are dying in Gaza because Netanyahu and Trump's support will not let food into starving children, and on and
That
on.
was Joe Biden.
Joe Biden financed the whole thing. What are you talking about?
And she said Netanyahu and Trump. Medicare and food stamps, and there will be women dying in childbirth because they don't have access to health care. I am as angry and disappointed with those of you who focused on one issue and tantrumed and did not support Harris. Now, we're going to stop right there.
Ooh, yes.
Who in this room did not vote for, campaign for, work for Kamala Harris?
I don't see any hands.
So
Yeah.
we're moving right along here. Trump supporters and the MAGA cult are responsible for this horrific moment in history. Buckle up, buttercups, as we say.
Yeah.
But so too are you and others like you.
Oh, because we dare to question the
Listen,
Biden.
I'll say this right now.
Do it.
That this man, first of all,
Liz is smiling and giggling over here, but I'm sorry.
first of all, I have worked and supported both, and moved over 1,000 miles away from my home in order to do so, right? And I hope that she spent as much time volunteering and doing that kind of work as she did writing the email. But however, I digress. What is really disturbing to me about all of this is the fact that there were 5 people in the White House that were complicit in propping this man up when clearly he had signs that he was physically and intellectually incapable of doing this job midway through his term. And they covered for him, right? And so, I'm a big fan of NPR, which is why we're here, right? But there's a radio program that aired last weekend called the New Yorker Radio Hour, right? Jake Tapper did the interview. And Jake Tapper talked about how, well, nobody wanted to talk about it. And he was asked by the editor of the New Yorker, he was asked, well, why didn't you say something then? And they said, well, we were afraid of throwing the country into a constitutional crisis. And I'm literally driving and screaming at the same time. How are we not in a constitutional crisis now? And how is it your right to do that and then continue to call yourself a journalist?
Right. Exactly. Let's get some phone calls, and then we'll go back to diatribing.
The emails.
Oh, well, yeah, but these people have been holding
gotcha.
on.
Makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Beverly in Seminole. Hi, Beverly.
Hey.
Hi there, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm glad to hear you on this morning. I just wanted to add some local information that's going on. Just this past Monday, there was a dinner in support of David Jolly and Josh Weil. Great turnout. A lot of people there. They both spoke. Really, really impressive. But I just want to encourage everybody to get involved on, their local level. The districts, like I'm in District 59, they're starting early. We're looking at the midterm. Mm-hmm. We are in a positive mindset. We're not only going to meetups and events, but we're also sending out mailers. We're doing everything we can. And so you know better than anybody that public opinion is the biggest driver of change. So this we can do. And I just wanted to let you know that things are coming up here near in the future that people might want to join in. And in fact, if you allow me, I'll announce an upcoming event. That is, the next meeting will be a fun collaboration meeting with the Democratic Hispanic Caucus of Florida on June 10th from 6 to 7:30 at La Mordida Restaurant Bar and Grill on Highway 19 in Clearwater. And then following that, district meetings are held once a month, which people can easily find by Googling it.
Okay.
So thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you. And I hope everybody has a great Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you for being a
Thank you,
listener.
Beverly. All right. Jiminy in Town and Country. Hey, Jiminy.
Hey, good morning. So I have a couple of things. I have a question about how do we look up who is running for office? How do we know that?
So what are you looking for? What are you looking for specifically?
Locally, you go to your supervisor of elections website, and it'll show you who has already filed for office.
But a lot of people don't file until the very last minute. So you have to.
I would Google the district too, because I didn't know until she just said it, because I've been underwater for about 2 weeks, that Weil was running with Jolly. You see what I mean?
Right.
I saw the announcement from Jolly, but when she said Weil, I just had to Google it myself. And this is all I do. This is what I do 14 hours a day. So I missed that. So I would just Google if you're what are you interested in? I need to understand. What are you interested? School board, city council in Jacksonville? Well, you're in Tampa now.
I'm in Tampa now, yeah.
Okay.
Well, because in Jacksonville, I was interested in school board. I was interested in city council. And in Tampa, I'm trying to figure out, because I know it works a little differently, because I think I'm very interested in Hillsborough as the county as well, because of everywhere. And so I'm just trying to figure out, I know I'm in district 50. I'm in district 64.
That's your state rep?
For my house, State House District 64,
right,
and U.S. House District 14. So I've been trying to figure it out, but I'll definitely look up specifically the district and specifically on the Supervisor of Election website.
The reason why I say Google it and go to Ballotpedia and put in the actual district, right? And the reason why I say that is because there are people who are mounting a run but have not filed. So you're not going to find them at the Supervisor of Election. You're not going to find them in the federal filings. right? So, and the other thing is, we're friends. Call me. Yeah, this makes no sense. Call me, and we'll work through it, and we'll talk about it. Okay?
Yeah, no problem. And then just on the topic of volunteering and getting involved in your community and local mutual aid, this Sunday there's going to be a protest at Curtis Hickson Park, 5:30 p.m. We're acknowledging the 5-year anniversary of George Floyd's murder, and also the current state of the country as our administration is is stopping a lot of the investigations that were called for during the Black Lives Matter movement. But we'll be out there at the park right in front of the Tampa Museum of Art and on the Riverwalk this Sunday evening around 5:30.
We'll see if I can make it down there, so maybe we can do a little story on that.
Fantastic.
Thank you,
guys so much.
Jiminy.
Thank you, Jiminy.
Bye-bye. We're getting into the home stretch now of Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. Give us a call at 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. Back to the, do you want to read do you want to read more emails, or do we want to get back to the one who thinks Joe Biden was harbinger of the rules of law? Complicit, yes. That's where I want to go. I want to, talk trash.
Here's what I think. I think that people who think that are in the same group of folks who think that dissent is problematic.
And that goes back to my theory that etiquette and social mores are tools of the patriarchy.
Right. And so I think we've got to really look at sometimes being quiet is the problem. So when Bernie got railroaded, the fact that we didn't stop our party right there and say, you're not listening.
The Democratic Party you're talking about, yes.
Right. And the Democratic Party.
Because it ain't our party, because it ain't my party.
Right. And so, what I'm saying is not our as related to WMNF. It's like the Democratic Party. And I shouldn't say our and we. But because this is not, can you do the Surly disclaimer?
The opinions expressed on Surly Voices are those of Surly Voices and not those of WMNF Tampa.
Okay, so I want to make a clear delineation. Now, because that wasn't stopped, because we didn't say that we should have fought harder, maybe even for Gore, back in the 2000s, this thing has taken a trajectory.
Hanging Chads, remember that?
Hanging Chads,
yeah.
Right here in Florida.
We wouldn't have gone to war with Iraq.
Catherine Harris, Bush won. And so there's a long history, and I think that arc of saying, I'm an establishment Democrat, I don't want to jump out of the pot, I'm going to go along to get along, and then maybe I'll get my turn. I'm on the bench, I'm waiting patiently. That type of behavior has killed dissent inside of the party. And so there's no way for us to cleanse our palate, as it were.
Yeah.
And so here we are, and now the people that are still dissenting are being told that they're the problem, and that's the problem.
And
I want to be clear. People in my mind, as much as Mary thinks we're the problem, in my mind, she's the problem.
Right.
The go-alongs to get-alongs, and we have no way to audit the
vote blue no matter who.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Wave.
Yeah. Right. Democrats suck at branding, but B, it's like, all right, for example, somebody posted, about when Biden came out with the cancer news, and one person asked a question: why are some people laughing? And I said, well, some people may have a hard time being empathetic with somebody who's done, and I had a laundry list of things, of course, because that's like one of my biggest beefs is that Biden never got elected. And oh my gosh, I was attacked from all quarters, and I'm still getting attack email. And it's like, I just answered the lady's question. I didn't wish the man, harm. I didn't, what? Yeah.
You know, I
So-
want to tell people that you're going to keep on sitting there, waiting for your turn, waiting for someone to pick you, waiting for to be told that, you know, you go up to the podium now. It's your turn in the rotation. You're going to keep sitting there waiting. You're going to look up. There are going to be a bunch of 38-year-olds elected to those seats, and they're going to have them until they're 58. So what you guys, if you really want to get in there, what you're going to have to do is not wait for somebody to tell you that it's okay to run.
Right. Because this ain't T-ball, you know, where everybody gets to play one at a time.
Right.
We're talking about our country, our democracy.
Yeah. Josh Wilde didn't wait.
There you go.
He didn't wait to be given permission.
Let's talk to Fez in Bradenton. Hi, Fez.
Good morning, y'all.
Morning.
I was at the Democratic Convention for Manatee County, I don't know, whenever that was, a month ago or something, 2 months. And I'm sure I had this feeling that, like you are now, they were, you know, got to go out and run. And I had a really great conversation when I was there about how I needed to go out and run. You know, and I was like, okay, everybody needs to go out and run. And this is, you know, the time, as you're saying. And, you know, the first thought, of course, is what am I running for? And the answer is really, it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't, you've got to go out and run for something.
I agree. I agree very much. And we're running out of time here, Fez, but thank you for calling in. And I want to say something about it being time to run.
Thank you, Fez.
45,000 people, according to Emerge, have decided to throw their hat in the ring this go around. That is an unprecedented number this early. And so when you heard the caller say we're going to start early, all right? Mm-hmm. So it's an unprecedented number of people. So if Gemini, you know, the younger people, if you are retired and you have values that align with the American people, this is the time. I want to read this question about. There was a question about running. It's right along the lines of what we're doing. With such a productive and, dare I say, noble motivation for running for office, how do you think you would ever attract donor class support sufficient to make it through the primaries? I'm not being a smart aleck here. That's a serious question. Okay, so the first thing people don't do, and one of the problems that consultants have created, I'm going to try to do this really fast, so I'll yield that 1 minute back, that telling people that they do not need a field operation. When you're running tight races, you will get that 1 to 4 points that you need in the field. It's face-to-face conversations. At this point, really, that and vote tripling, which I did research on in 22 and 24, are the only things that have ever been proven to move the needle, okay, to really get you some points. We can definitively say we talked to these people and they voted. They didn't. We ID'd them early in the race. They said they didn't have a choice. We came back to them in GOTV. They said, I'm choosing this candidate. So we can track that person because we're talking to people. Mm-hmm. The consultants tell people they don't need field, and it's one of the reasons that we're losing. So in this go around, you must talk to your constituents face to face. And when you do that, you can ask people to donate to your campaign. When you build your following, you're building your donor base. Okay.
Very good.
And then once you establish yourself locally, you can branch out and you can use your online account to start to talk to people in other places and say, look at this momentum. Look at what we're doing. Can you please support us? We need your help. We can't do this by ourselves. So those campaigns are the ones that are going to flip the seats. The ones that where you have a consultant come in and take more than they should and the money doesn't make it into the field, they're going to raise a lot of money because a lot of these campaigns are going to raise some wild money this go around. There's a lot of public will to make a shift. But if you don't put the money dollars into the field where you're talking to people and cultivating both your support and your donor base, you're going to lose.
All right. Quickly, Donna in Bradenton, I got 30 seconds to give you.
Okay, thanks. Hi, I'm another Donna, and
Hey.
I just wanted to agree with you guys. When Bernie got railroaded, I know this might be too little too late, but some friends and I did go to Philadelphia during the Democratic convention and witnessed firsthand Hillary's people giving money away for other people to take up Bernie's delegate seats. And also in the Bernie section, they turned down the volume of the speakers in that area, where they couldn't hear the sound of what was going on. And Bernie delegates were just coming out of there literally crying. Wow. And it was just so heartbreaking. And I know he would have been just really something. And I don't know, I know it's years ago, but I don't know what else that we could do about stuff like that.
All right. Thanks so much for calling, Donna.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye-bye. And thank you all for listening to Surly Voices on